if I were to ask you to evaluate this from 1 to 100, it would be very tedious for you to sit there and do 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 all the way up to 100. It would be very tedious for you to do this. So remember, when something's complicated, break it down into something simpler, and then try and investigate what's going on. So rather than evaluating from 1 to 100, let's look what happens when you evaluate from 1 just to 9. Okay, so when you evaluate this here, one way of doing this would be to get this, merge it with this, so this would be 10 plus 10 plus 10 plus 10, and then later plus a 5. That's one way of doing it. Then now extend it to the 100. Or you could do this same technique here. This plus this will be 101, and merge this with this, it will be 101, and then this merge it with this will be 101. So on here, bearing in mind that you have 100 terms. The point here is that when so that's one way of doing it. One way of doing it to merge this with this, merge this with this. Another way of doing it would be to get the first term, add it with the last term. So get the first term, add it with the last term, and then immediately divide it by 2. So that would then, this here would then represent the average of all these. Okay, so looking at this case here, get the first. So another way of doing it would be get the first term, add it to the last term. So get the first term, add it to the last term, and then divide it by 2. That will then give you the average. So this thing here will give you the average. So the average here being 5. So what this means here is that, let's just say the average, let this represent 5. So let 5 represent this, let 5 represent this, and so on here. So a 5 here would represent this, a 5 here would represent this, a 5 here would represent this, and so on here. A 5 here would represent this, a 5 here would represent this, and a 5 here would represent this. So now you've got 9 blocks here. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You've got 9 blocks. So just get the 9 blocks times with the average. So this would give you 45. So this here is another way of doing it. So in this case here, the same goes with 1 to 100 here. If you get the first term, add it with the last term. So get the first term, add it with the last term, and then immediately divide it by 2. This here would represent your average. So use average to represent every single one here. So use the average to represent each one of these here. Okay, use the average to represent that, and then you don't forget you've got 100. You've got 100 of these blocks here, 100 terms here. So you would get the average times 100, and then that would give you the sum of everything. Okay, so in general, get the first term, add it with the last one. So get the first term, add it with the last one, and then immediately divide it by 2. This then would represent the average, and then you've got 100 terms here. So times by 100, and then this here will give you the sum of all these here. Okay, so hang on. So in this case here, if you want to evaluate this here up to whatever n here, so you want to sum up everything here. So to do this here, get the first term, which will be 1, and then add it to the very last term, which will be, get the first term here, which will be 1, and then add it to the very last term here, add it to the very last term, and then divide it by 2. That will then give you your average, and don't forget you've got n terms, so times it by n. Okay, so this thing here would represent the sum of everything here. So in general, get the first term and then add it to the last term, so that would be n plus 1, and then immediately divide it by 2. This here would represent your average, and then times by n. So this here will give you the sum of everything. So this is really the same as this, n plus 1 over 2. You see, this here is your formula for working out, let's say, for up to 1 million if you wanted to. Okay, but so once now we've got a formula for working out up to any n. Okay, so hang on. So overall, if you want to evaluate something like this, this is your formula. Okay.